What's the word? 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 What's the word on that movie? What's the word? 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 What's the word on that movie? Welcome to What's the Word on That Movie podcast play-by-play. I am your host, Daniel Lawrence. On this episode, I am discussing 47 Meters Uncaged. What's the Word on That Movie can be found on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube. Other platforms coming soon as well as video. Twitter handle is at What's the Word on 2. First letters of each word capitalized, and yes, that is the number 2. Instagram is What's the Word on That Movie, all lowercase, no spaces, and Snapchat is What's the Word on That Movie. What's has an apostrophe, and the first letter of each word is capitalized, and each word is spaced out, or try Lawrence Media 1. All lowercase, no spacing, and yes, that is the number 1. YouTube is What's the Word on That Movie. Each word is spaced out with caps at the beginning of each word, and What's has the apostrophe S. Let's get to it. This movie is ultimately about two sisters coming together from a shark attack tragedy. One of the girls, Mia, lost her mom, and her dad remarries a woman from what I can tell knew Mia's mom very well. And Mia's stepmom has a daughter named Sasha. The girls begin the movie at a new school after moving to a new town. Mia doesn't have any friends and does not like it in the new place. Mia and Sasha begin the movie not liking each other, this being more so from not understanding the other, and because neither are willing to take the time to understand each other, they are at odds with one another. As the movie goes along, the girls learn to look out for one another and forge a bond over blood, guts, and sharks. 47 Meters Down Uncaged opens with an underwater scene of the caves in which the girls will be visiting later in the movie. The movie begins at a school for girls, with a girl falling into the water. She was pushed into the school's outdoor pool. We learn that she was pushed in by one of the girls who happens to be laughing at her. I mean, the girls that pushed her in are having a field day at this girl's expense. The girl who pushed her in and then turns to the stepsister saying, "Your sister is weird." The stepsister says, "She is not my sister." The girls are picked up by their mom. Mia has no support from her stepsister. They arrive home and her dad wonders why she is wet. Nobody will explain to him what happened. The stepsister Sasha tells her stepdad some girl at school pushed her in the pool and that it's not my fault if nobody likes her. Mia, the girl who was pushed in the pool, sits with her stepmom and they talk. Mia lets her stepmom know she doesn't like it here. Her stepmom explains she is proud to call her her daughter. Her stepmom explains, "Look, I know you and Sasha don't get along well, but we are all family." Mia tells her stepmom that Sasha is not her sister. They have a family meal. Their father tells them about a glass-bottom boat ride to see great white sharks in their habitat that he has arranged for the girls to spend some quality time together. I want to say her father is an archaeologist and a diver in his own right. Sasha's friends show up and say, "We have somewhere better. We can take you guys where nobody knows about." Mia and Sasha go with Sasha's friends as the alternative is to go on the boat ride their dad scheduled for them, along with a bunch of the other tourist people, and of course the mean girls from school were going on the boat ride as well. The four girls journey out into what appears to be the middle of nowhere, but even nowhere is somewhere, am I right? The girls come to a cliff overlooking the water. Mia and Sasha's dad and his workers have been diving here and mapping the place out. We are told this because one of Sasha's friends came up to the site with one of Sasha's dad's workers. The girls cliff dive into the water. There is a floating dock in the water they swim over to and then undress and begin to play in the water. They find Mia and Sasha's dad diving equipment and testing products and decide, hey, let's go scuba diving in the caves. The girls make their descent. It's awesome that they do stop and check their equipment before entering the cave system. What's bad is they didn't take anything to map their route or any markers to remember the route. After making it through the corridors, they enter a large room. Using the lighting system the girls' dad had set up, they light the place and are able to see all the ruins of this place, and that is now sunken. One of the girls, Nicole, sees something move. The leader says, "Let's go back. We said we would come in and go back." Nicole decides she needs to find out what it was she saw move. They come across a blind cave fish. Nicole attempts to touch it and frightens her. She pushes back into a pillar and causes it to fall over. Now the girls are trapped. Mia is unable to locate Sasha. Mia and Alexa run into Ben. Alexa tells Mia and Ben the other girls are over by the exit. He tells them, let's get you guys out of here before your dad finds out. Ben is then eaten by a shark. The girls make their way through the tunneling system, but it begins to collapse. Unable to make it out before it caved in, they now must go back and make it past the shark. Mia says to Alexa, you said that my dad and his guys come in a different way. Alexa tells Mia it's a maze down here, and she only knew the one way. Mia states that Ben wouldn't have come without some sort of marking system, so he wouldn't get lost and we can use that. The girls mention, what about the shark? They check their gear, and with being a little under halfway of oxygen left, Sasha says we don't have much of a choice but to find the other way out. The girls find Ben's guidance line and follow it. It's dark, quiet, and eerie, only light coming from the flashlights as they make their way through the tunnels. They come across the catacombs and see all of these skulls. At the same time, they learn the guidance line has been broken and they have arrived at its end. No time to give up, they press on. They come to a dead end. They come face to face with a shark. It doesn't appear to see them. You know, maybe it's blind as well and has always been. Maybe it grew up in the depths of this place, meaning its hearing is what guides it. The shark was originally drawn as the girls began making fuss to hopefully draw the attention of Sasha and Mia's dad. The alarm in one of the girls' air tanks begins to beep. The shark comes back, so the girls make a break for it. They barely get away and make it into a narrow corridor. The corridor has an air pocket so they can conserve their tanks. The girls hear music on the other side of the wall. Mia swims down to see if she can find another way across and discovers a gap she can fit through. Mia decides she will go and get help. It doesn't make sense, they all use up their oxygen tanks. We see one of the workers jamming out and cutting through something, then the music cuts. He calls out to Ben and Grant, Grant being Mia and Sasha's dad, but neither appear. He discovers the radio has been damaged. He goes in search of something and is met by a shark. The shark tears straight through him just as it did to Ben. Mia makes it through the system and looks for her dad. She calls out for Carl, which I take is the guy who just got eaten. Mia finds his distress alarm. Mia comes across a dead body, which I take is Carl. She panics and gets lost, not thinking when you panic you begin to breathe sporadically. Luckily, she is found by her dad. He tells her to follow him. Let's get the other girls. Unbeknown to them, they are being tailed by a shark. The other girls alert them to the shark and then create a diversion by banging on the walls to lure the shark away from Mia and her dad. They make their way into a corridor. The shark cannot go and are able to make it back to the surface. The girls are excited they have survived. Mia looks down and sees a shark. Nicole freaks and jumps on the pulley lift system made to lift one out at a time called the Ascender. Alexa was already on it, so she causes it to break, stranding the guys in the water, but she makes it out only to fall back into the water. They realize the alarm scares the sharks away because of the frequency. Mia and Sasha's dad is nabbed by a shark. We don't see him torn to shreds, so for now I assume he is still alive. The girls make another descent. It's dark, red, and eerie with the sound of this alarm buzzing and blinking, which sets the tone. The girls are encircled by sharks. The girls lose the alarm as they are snatched up by a current. Sasha is snatched away by the current as Mia attempts to hold on to her and pull her out of the current. Nicole and Alexa die. The last two girls work to make their way around the current and through the corridors, attempting to find another way to the surface. They encounter another shark. They are literally having to crawl their way through this corridor. Almost out of oxygen, Sasha and Mia get rid of their tanks. Mia's leg is caught on something, I presume one of the straps to the tanks. Sasha is able to free her and they make it to the surface. They swim over to a boat that is actually at the moment chumming the water, which chum is used to bait sharks. So now the girls who just escaped these sharks are sitting in literally a pool of blood, in this case an ocean of blood. The girls swim to get out and we see them get pulled under, don't know from what. They reappear banging on the glass at the bottom of the boat and barely escaping a shark. Getting help out of the water, Sasha is attacked and pulled under by one of the sharks. Mia grabs her flare gun and dives in after. Mia shoots the shark in what I presume to be the eye, and her and Sasha swim for the boat once more. This time Mia is taken under by a shark. Mia pulls out the shark tooth her father gave her and proceeds to stab the shark in the eye. At this point, Sasha is rescued onto the boat. Mia is pulled up and another shark barely misses chomping off her leg. The mean girl earlier in the movie who pushed Mia into the school pool comes face to face with Mia and just sees Mia for a completely fierce girl and steps out of Mia's way. The movie ends with the girls, Sasha and Mia, being happy they have one another. I went back and rewatched the film a second time and noticed we are introduced to Carl early on. Mia's shark tooth she uses to free herself from the shark is given to her during the family dinner at the beginning of the movie. Still not sure what happened to Nicole. I missed her exit and I saw Alexa drown. Overall, I actually enjoyed this movie and it wasn't bad watching it a second time. It reminds me of the old camp horror movies at the beginning. But once it gets going, instead of having to deal with Jason Voorhees, they are having to deal with sharks. It's a nice adventure horror movie, and if that is your steez, you'll really enjoy it. It's worth the view if there is nothing else you are interested in seeing and just want to head out to the movies for a quick escape. That said, I think it would have done wonders as a Netflix movie. It comes off as one of those sci-fi movies I would have enjoyed as a kid to watch on Saturday mornings. I give this movie an A rating for what it is and what it delivers and encourage you to see it at least once in your life. Thanks for tuning in to What's the Word on That Movie podcast play-by-play. I am your host, your voice, Daniel Lawrence, and I will see you next time.